and how that compromises your chance for advancement, makes you feel somewhat like a fifth wheel. And as I was processed with the president after these meetings, I said to him, you know, there's a need to apologize to these people. I know some of the people who have done these things are no longer in the company. I know we have programs and policies in place to correct this type of behavior, but it's still going on because our company, similar to every company out there, is an inherently flawed human system made up of imperfect, fallible people. I said, there's a need to apologize. And I said, I can do it, but I don't represent the company. As president, you do. So I worked with him on crafting some words. And the next time we went out and we heard these horror stories, he said, I'm very sorry to hear that. That's not in line with our corporate values. We work hard to remedy this, but an injustice has been done to you and it cannot be undone. On behalf of Keyspan, I would like to apologize to you for what's been done. I'm sorry. Something in the room shifted when he did that. And for the first time, some of these people actually felt heard, actually felt healed, and came to realize that Keyspan is very much like their family, imperfect, fallible. But their family, when they make a mistake, apologizes. No one had ever apologized until now. And it changed them. And I know that firsthand because most of the work I do is largely with our union people. I bring all these people together a lot of times. And the same ones are always bitching about the same hurts and flaws. And some of them stopped. And there was an element of healing that took place. Before we go into the third half of this afternoon's program, this might be a good opportunity to take some questions. There are 2 microphones. I invite you to ask questions. As I mentioned in the tape, the only thing you have to lose is the respect of your peers. The good news is there's only 2,000 people here today. Come up to the mic. Please state your name and where you work, and I'll answer the question. Your name is?
My name is Stacy Elise Weiser.
Stacy, before you ask your question, so we all come to conferences. We all learn about leadership. We know what's required for leaders. You have to be courageous. But most of us are like me. When given the chance to be courageous, we stay in our seats and play it safe. The Stacys of the world remind us what leadership looks like. There it is. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, Stacy. Your question. Where do you work?
I'm sorry?
Where do you work?
I am actually an MBA student at Thunderbird, the Garvin School of International Management.
I'm sorry to hear that.
My question for you is that in speaking about what you've done with your company, you have used a lot of innovative techniques or ways of thinking that were not consistently used in corporate America and still probably aren't. Mm-hmm. Were those ideas intuitive for you? Where did these techniques come from? Are they from reading? Or where did you get your ideas? And how did you convince upper management to actually implement them?
Okay. Before I answer that, Stacy, for your bravery, I have up here a line of photography cards that I sell for my charity. You get a free one. You better get it now because they're going to go. Each one is hand-signed by me, so hold on to it. When I die, it will grow in value. That's the downside of being an artist. Right? You don't get recognition until after you're dead, as Ray Charles learned at last month's Grammys. Anyone you want. So there was a two-part question. How are you so ingenious to think this up? Let me get this straight. We get an executive in the room to shut up and listen. We ask people what's working well, what's screwed up. That took me several light years to come up with. The more perplexing question is, how do you get senior management or engineers, accountants, and lawyers to actually do this kind of stuff? Here's what I found helpful. I always talk to people about business. And how could I help them improve business performance? I don't talk to them about spiritual levels of energy. I don't talk to them about spirituality in the workplace. I never mentioned Senge's name. I said, what's screwed up, and let's see what we can do to help fix it. My 20 years in business has taught me the people who really know how to fix things are employees. So I have a lot of interest in bringing our employees together around a business problem with a member of senior management in the room who will actually do something with what they say. The role of the employees is to speak their experience. The role of senior management is to listen and take action on at least one. So that's what I do. Next question. Yes, you are.
Good afternoon. I'm back. I'm Joe Trowbridge. And
Hello, Joe.
we met this afternoon.
Yes.
Right. I didn't tell you at the time that I was Corporate Director of Quality on the Apollo space program. I ran a motivational program which was highly successful. We put 3 men on the moon and back with the heat shield. That call was the Pride program.
Good for you, Joe.
If you'd been around at that time, we could have gone not to the moon, but to Mars. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I just have one question for you.
Yes.
When you went gallantly into the president's office, I realized you worked for God before, so it wasn't
Yes.
going very high. But there was a certain amount of risk involved. There's a certain nervousness on your part.
Yes.
How did you survive?
So having had 2 near-death experiences, you really don't give a shit.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
So the most they could do would be fire me. At least I'm not dead. Dying, I'm concerned about. Getting fired, I could live with. There's also an element of obligation. Our executives look for us. Their hope is that we are willing to take those risks. And I think at some level they're disappointed when we play it safe and do what we're told. In the monastery, they call that holy disobedience. You shouldn't necessarily do what you're told. There's a higher law out there, and you have a responsibility to respond to it. Next question. Yes.
Philip Heinley.
Hello, Philip.
I'm a consultant in quality.
You must be rich.
Thank you. When you fired off your e-message to the top, the president recognized some value and agreed with what you were saying, invited you in. If he hadn't invited you in, or if we have executives who aren't as enlightened and they don't agree with you, is there a way to somehow get to them, enlighten them, to give it a try at least once?
Okay. Here's my feeling about that. Stop trying to enlighten people. They're fine the way they are. I think we also have a problem with leadership in our business. We're fixated on it. We have this love affair with leaders that if we don't have their support, that we can't do anything. Baloney. Mother Teresa said it well. Stop waiting for leaders. Do it alone.